mean, I feel like it would be awkward to just like have a video where two people just start talking randomly.
All right, good job. I just started the recording. That's the first line.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that actually.
I baited you into the intro.
That's a fucking awful intro. And I swear, I forget. This is YouTube.
I don't even know anymore. They keep changing all the rules.
They do. Well, anyways, we're here to mainly talk about like Elder Scrolls, correct?
I mean, that's the idea. It might not go that way.
True. We do tend to just ramble quite a bit.
So now what?
Well, I was hoping you would say something.
Like, you're the one who said you were doing prep. I don't script anything.
I'm gonna be so curious how much of this gets left in. I'm just imagining that like 20 seconds of dead air or something. It was only like 6 seconds, but whatever.
I mean, it always feels worse than it is.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really even. Okay, the prep that I did was thinking about things. I didn't like actually write anything down. So
I mean, the way you were talking about it, I thought you were gonna have like a fucking spreadsheet or something.
no. Dedicate that amount of effort to the second episode.
I guess we need something to start with then.
Well, I can just start by saying, I guess, I was recently, as in 10 minutes ago, playing Oblivion and just kind of reminiscing about why it is like my favorite of the franchise.
I mean, I just think it's funny.
I mean, it is very funny. It's a hilarious game. For context, it was the one that I started with. You know that. But I don't know, there's always just been something about it that makes it the one I always want to go back to over Skyrim. Morrowind has always just been like a hard egg for me to crack.
Yeah, I think I've only played through Morrowind once.
And I've never even played all the way through it.
I kind of just did it out of like obligation.
I've played a lot of it. Like I've probably put close to 100 hours into it, but I have the tendency to characters up over and over again, which I kind of feel like is one of the Elder Scrolls like strengths as a franchise. And it is something I do love about Morrowind. How like easy it is to just start a new character and immediately get them going into the world and doing shit.
Yeah. I mean, you've got like, I mean, it's been what, over 14 years since Skyrim came out, and we're still here, I think.
Yeah, the 14th was like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
a week ago.
What, 10 days ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're still here playing the various titles, however many decades after they've come out. So I think replayability isn't an issue.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I would say part of that, and I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of random kind of bullshitty type takes, but I think a part of that is that when Skyrim came out, it kind of started the era where the age of a game stopped mattering for how relevant it was to like be played by a newer audience. And that has also been helped by the fact that Bethesda has re-released it like 6 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out 14 years ago, but how long ago was the most recent re-release? Like 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it was whenever
Gosh.
Anniversary Edition came out, which isn't even the one I play. I don't play the newest one because I'm cool like that.
Oh, and yes, I have to say, for reference as well, I am not playing Oblivion Remastered. I have not played Oblivion Remastered yet. That's not like some principled stance. I would love to play it. I just haven't gotten a chance to. But I have a feeling even after I play it, I'm gonna enjoy it as a separate experience. But if I want to replay like Oblivion again afterwards, I'll probably still go back to the original.
Yeah, like I didn't even finish it, the remaster. Um, the main issue for me, it's like I can spend however long. Like I don't have the best internet, but it takes a while. Like it's what 120 gigabytes, or I can
Yeah.
download Oblivion, which is like what 20. Like I don't even have 120 gigabytes free.
I definitely don't. I'm playing on a laptop right now.
I have 106 gigabytes free.
I was gonna say, in regards to the remaster, I haven't checked the modding scene for the remaster. One of the things I regret about playing the original Oblivion as I'm playing it right now is just that in comparison to Skyrim, the modding scene is nowhere near as diverse.
Yeah.
It kind of died out in like 2010. And then it picked back up a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked into the new one for a while, but I mean, when it came out, it got like a shitload of mods very, very quickly.
I can imagine. And I'm not saying that, like, you have to have mods to enjoy any of these games. But, especially with Oblivion, to be honest, any older Bethesda game, like...
They're all old, fuck you mean?
Yeah, well, okay, any Bethesda game pre-Skyrim. Skyrim is like a landmark game for them in a lot of different ways.
It is depressing that that's old now.
Yeah, for stability purposes specifically, I think as buggy and unstable as Skyrim can be, every game before Skyrim that is Bethesda released, especially on PC, is quite atrocious to try and run without at least some like crash prevention mods and such. And that's including like New Vegas and stuff.
Yeah, well, interestingly, I actually didn't have any issues with New Vegas until I tried modding it, and then it crashed like every 5 seconds.
That is
I mean,
hilarious.
I've fixed it now, but it took ages to figure out what was wrong. And funnily enough, the thing that was making it crash was one of the crash prevention mods.
Okay.
But Skyrim, I have only had crash once on my PC. Like ever.
See, and I originally played Skyrim, like I got it midnight release when it came out. Mm-hmm. So I played it for forever just on the Xbox 360. That fucker crashed all the time. Now, all the time is relative because I was playing that thing in like 5-6 hour segments. So if it crashed twice every session, you know what I'm saying? It's all the time, but that's like every 3 hours, which, again, in comparison to like how Oblivion operates, even modded, that's crashing like every hour, guaranteed, almost.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play Skyrim immediately when it came out. It was pretty close. I don't really remember having that many crashes on it. I just remember how insanely long everything took to load.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, was a lot of games back then, but...
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got so many loading screens, like, behind every single door, it makes everything take a while.
And to be fair, I'm also just fairly unlucky.
I mean, at least I wasn't playing it on the PS3, because I've heard some horror stories about how that game runs.
I'm thinking from that era, specifically, like the PS3 was getting a lot of flack. Because if I remember correctly as well, like Dark Souls 1 coming out around the same time, the issues with Blighttown in that game, like apparently 10,000 times worse on PS3 from what I remember. But again, like 14 years ago, and I was like 11-ish at the time, so
yeah, I was 8 when Skyrim came out.
Yeah. Oh, a long time ago. We'll talk about has 6 later, because we can wonder when in the next 2 decades that game will come out.
I mean, I've been predicting 2028 for a long time, but who knows?
I mean, okay, it's highly likely we accidentally get the release date leaked beforehand, but I have a high suspicion they're gonna try and pull a bullshit like Shadow Drop with it.
Well, I'm pretty sure Todd has said that that's what he would want to do anyway.
Right. So, like, 2028 does kind of sounds reasonable, but I mean, what the fuck is reasonable after 14 years? We had slightly a topic of like going into this, which Elder Scrolls game was our favorite. Right?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Something along those lines.
Sorry, I've been looking for something on the floor for like the past 10 minutes and I can't find it.
I hope that's not an indication of how engaging this conversation is.
No, it's just that I dropped it and it's annoying me because I don't know where it's gone. Okay, whatever, fuck it. I don't need it anyway. It was a bit that broke off my old phone.
I was in the middle of saying something.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Favorite game. Please edit that out. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yours is Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why exactly? And we have talked before about this a little bit, and we've kind of said it, slightly acknowledging that it's whichever one you played first, right?
Yeah.
But like past that, why is Skyrim your favorite?
I mean, it's hard to mention things that don't correlate to it being the first one, because a lot of it is like, the world and just all the, like, the whole universe of it in general.
Okay. So world-wise, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, I guess it is specific to Skyrim in certain ways, especially because it's set in Skyrim. But just like everything always felt like it had so much history behind it. Again, I played this game when I was 8 years old, so there's you can imagine an 8-year-old going through all these ancient tombs and shit and just being like, what's any of this? It just made me very curious. And there's all these random carvings on walls. I'm like, what does that mean? And then you find some ancient sword and you're like, damn, this is cool. I bet there's some story behind this. So a lot of it was that. And then you've just got, I don't want to say immersion because that feels too generic.
Well, and I feel like all of the games are fairly good at being immersive.
I mean, especially when you're 8, yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, like, in relation to when they came out, because obviously Skyrim succeeds in a variety of ways, like, far more successfully than Morrowind does, but
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Skyrim came out and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the most realistic looking game ever."
Oh wait,
And then you
I'm
look at it
gonna
now and you're like, "Oh, it's so shit."
and,
It's like,
I need you to use that clip that Patrician does in his video too. That he loves fucking cutting to. It's like a clip from like an Oblivion like E3 demo or something where they're like getting audience responses. And there's this guy, and he's like, "Yeah, it looks amazing. It's got trees, unlike Vardenfall."
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And I feel like so many people can say the exact same thing going from Oblivion to Skyrim because of how gorgeous Skyrim still looks.
Yeah, I mean, I was exaggerating when I said it looked shit. I was mainly just comparing it in my head, like vanilla, to the modded one I've been playing.
Right, right. And I mean, even in 2011, the textures on the like things were fairly rough. Like it wasn't like a groundbreaking game graphically, but like the art direction and like just the general design, aesthetically of the whole game is on point.
Yeah, I think even just like the scale of the world, not in terms of like, you know, having huge cities or anything, but just like the actual sizes of buildings and mountains and stuff.
Yeah, like the verticality of a lot of the map, like especially that. Thinking about like the reach and how like just trying to like get to various places, it feels like you are actually like going these large distances up mountains or seeing these immense structures because of how easily you can see them, but how like, you know, difficult and like hard to reach they actually are.
Yeah, I remember the first time I played, I never felt like I had explored everything in the Reach. Even though, like, I probably had. It just felt like it was. I don't know. If it because it's hard to get through, it feels a lot bigger than it is, I think.
Yeah. I feel that like mainly in the reach because I feel like a lot of the other regions in comparison are fairly easy to navigate around. The only other area of the game that I kind of feel is similar is it's not even actually a specific region, weirdly. It's that like center mass of mountains that's like the northern part of Whiterun Hold and then like the southern part of like Winterhold. I forget the name of that actual like area.
You mean like a Dawn Star and the Pale and all that?
The Pale, yeah. But yeah, it's like that like kind of like mountain range that's like basically dead center of the map, and it kind of I think like Labyrinth is tucked away in like one of the northern parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always found that area like really interesting and weird to navigate around.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time back then just spamming the jump button up the sides of mountains to see what was up there.
Yeah. And I've been doing that quite a bit playing Oblivion again, which I feel like it's a lot easier to do in Oblivion. I feel like they made
Well,
a
unless
lot of
you've
it
got a horse
like
in Skyrim.
true, true. A lot of Oblivion is fairly flat in comparison. I am probably going to reference him again, but I'm just going to say for anyone who is actually listening to this, because it's still kind of weird to me thinking about like as I'm talking that I'm going to be talking in a video that you post.
But there's, I mean, for all three people that have gotten to this point, hi.
Hi,
How
yeah,
you doing?
hello. You three are going to be the ones that watch every single episode now until the rest of one of our lives. Um, anyways, what was I saying? Sorry, I'm so easily distracted. Patrician. Yes. Sorry, to get more of a clean cut of what I am saying. This gentleman that I'm going to probably reference quite a bit, Patrician. I disagree with him a lot, in a lot of different respects. A lot of different respects. I want to make that clear. But I love his reviews of Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, specifically because I feel like he not only loves the whole series as much as he's willing to shit on especially Skyrim, but uniquely, I think that he actually like takes the process of critiquing the games like seriously, like as a critique. I think he still like, inherently lets a lot of his own biases bleed through, but like he actually like prepares arguments and attempts to defend them and shit. It's not just an opinion, which I think is what makes the videos fun to listen to. But the whole reason I'm saying that is because he, in a recent re-listen of the Oblivion one, mentioned a lot of things that I agree with as an issue that I wanted to bring up. Biggest one being how fucking atrocious the leveling in it is. And you've said that you've never had an issue with the leveling necessarily because you've never tried doing like efficient leveling.
Yeah, I just sort of played through it without really giving a shit.
Right, and he makes like a big deal out of it. Yeah, he makes a big deal out of it in the video. And kind of says like that like the experience you have had with Oblivion, and like he almost like doesn't acknowledge that experience at all. So I'm just curious, like when you were playing through it, like what difficulty were you playing on?
I don't know, just default, I guess.
Okay. And are you the type to do all the content on one character, or to like, if you like want to do a mage, then you'll do the mages guild?
With Oblivion, I usually do everything, yeah.
Okay. So how difficult is the end game in your opinion?
I mean,
because these games, like, difficulty is rarely ever talked about, I feel like.
You know what I think it is with me, actually?
What?
I don't interact with the leveling system that much.
Okay.
Like, I don't sleep that often. Because it's, like, obviously going from Skyrim, my brain isn't wired to do that. So I just ignore it.
So what, you just end up, like, accumulating a shit ton of levels all at once, and then you just burst through them and don't care?
Pretty much. Like,
Okay.
I think the only time I remember being like, oh, I need to sleep so I can level up was like right at the start of the game when I was doing the Fighters Guild.
Yeah.
I say that like I've only played Oblivion once, but that's just the only time I remember doing it.
Because he has like a whole diatribe about specifically like endurance. And I know that this is like a thing that a lot of other people do kind of agree with. Not to maybe the extent he gripes about it, but like how in the original, which I know they fixed this in the remake, they changed how the leveling entirely works in the remake, which I have opinions on, but I'll state those opinions whenever I play the game.
I'm also a terrible person to talk about that because, again, I didn't really interact with the leveling system in the first place.
Right, I had to like drag the details out of you. But what I was gonna say is like endurance. Since all of the enemies are level scaled in Oblivion, and your health gains per level are tied to endurance, you can end up in situations where you'll get to the end game and end up just consistently getting like one-shotted by things. So you never had that experience? Because I definitely remember shit like that happening when I was a kid, when I was playing. But you didn't play it as a kid, did you?
No, well, I mean, define kid, I guess. I was probably like late teens.
You were like maybe late teens, yeah.
Yeah.
That's still a kid, but like I was playing Oblivion when I was like 8, like when you played Skyrim. So it could just be that I was a dumb kid, but
I think if I ever found something that was too strong, I probably just left.
I mean, fair.
Or like just
like
run past it or something. I don't know.
Pretty much everything was leveled. I guess like certain areas like only having like ogre. Anyways, I just find it interesting that like he had like such a stress on it, and like I vaguely remember it, and that's kind of why I'm playing through it again, is because I want to stack up my play experience against his review a little. And I decided to efficiently level endurance, and I showed you that earlier.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not going to have like a clean sample of what it would be like without efficiently leveled endurance. But I might start up another character and just test that and get to the end game and see if, like what it's like from my perspective. Because you're saying you didn't have any issues, but I don't know. I do feel like I remember in Oblivion, like you're very squishy unless you build defensively. Because you also just might have had like really good items. Like you can get absurd like spell reflection and just like physical damage reflection on enchanted gear.
Yeah,
so
I guess
if you stack enough of that, then it doesn't matter. I don't know.
A lot of the time when I play Oblivion now, it's like I'm going on to do a thing. Like it's like, oh, I want to play through this part of the game or whatever. Like if I'm starting a character to experience Oblivion, it'll be one to do everything. But a lot of the time, it's like I just want to do this thing. So a lot of the time, I don't get that high leveled anyway.
And yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying earlier about how these games, you just start a new character up over and over again fairly often. I feel like that's true with the Fallout games as well. Even 1 and 2, which weren't like Bethesda titles. I don't want to go so off topic. Well, actually, yeah. I was recently playing Fallout 1 a couple weeks ago.
I played both of them once. I haven't played like Brotherhood of Steel or whatever. Apparently it's quite different anyway.
Yeah, I haven't played that one at all. You know, what inspired me to play it was a recent video? Maybe. Recent-ish, potentially, from a previous guest of your channel, Mickey D.
Technically, not even previous guest of the channel. Previous guest on the old channel. I just re-uploaded it.
Well, it's on this channel. Too,
it is, yes.
So it counts.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that because I know he plays them a fair bit.
It was very funny. I think it was his playing through Fallout 1 like with an intelligence of 1. It might have been an intelligence of 2, but.
Well, I mean, I know you like longer videos. He, I think, just put out like a 6.5 hour Morrowind playthrough, so there's something for you to do.
I'm gonna love that. If I'm not falling asleep to one of your videos tonight, I'll put that on.
I can't remember what the premise was. Oh, I remember. It was, can you beat Morrowind without starting the main quest or something?
Can you beat Morrowind without starting the main quest?
I think that's what it was.
What counts as starting the main quest?
Well, you'll have to watch it and find out, I guess. Why am I Mickey's PR team all of a sudden?
Hey, you're a good PR artist, though, because I'm already intending on watching it, so. What would you say is aside from like the world building / like feel of the world, like your favorite part of Skyrim?
Favorite? Well, what is part?
Could be anything. Could be like something in the design, the combat, like a quest, one of the factions, um, an area. I don't know.
Am I allowed to just say vibes? Because it's just vibes.
I feel like that's a bit boring of an answer, but if you can elaborate on it, sure.
I don't know. It's just there's something about just being in it.
Here.
Like,
okay. I don't mean to entirely interrupt you, but I'll give my answer for what I think my favorite thing in Oblivion is first.
That might give me some context from my own one.
Yeah. Give you a little bit of time to think of something aside from vibes. No, my favorite thing is the Imperial City specifically.
Okay.
Like, I explored the shit out of that place as a kid, and it's always been one of my favorite like cities in any video game ever. Everything from like how it's shaped, because the circular pattern of it is just so great for actually moving around the city. Being able to get from like any district into the like Gold Tower, I think it's Emperor's Way is what it's called on the map. Anyways, going into there into any other district is just so like easy and convenient. There's a shit ton of shops, not just in the market district, but scattered all over the place. They fit the arena in there, and it's, I think, like the best example Bethesda has ever shown of one of their cities working with Radiant AI. Because there's so many little quests I can think of that take place in the Imperial City that utilize like NPC routines. And Skyrim would do that in a lot of quests, but not like focused in the cities, I feel like.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean.
Yeah.
Although, interestingly,
like
I mean, you go. I was going to go off topic a bit.
I was going to say the most notable example I can think of, like right off the top of my head. Do you know that side quest you do for like the merchants in the marketplace, where they like have you investigate why this guy has such good merchandise that he can sell for so cheap or whatever?
Yeah,
and then it turns out that you have to stalk him and then stalk this other dude, and then you have to wait until that dude isn't in his house. Like, it's so simple, but I really can't think of times in Skyrim where you end up like caring that much about specifically an NPC's routine, outside of maybe like a couple moments in the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, I mean, people in Skyrim, I feel like, are just really easy to find all of the time. It's like they go to like 3 spots.
Yeah. And I feel like Skyrim, I could be wrong, but I think the map of Oblivion is larger than the map of Skyrim.
I don't know the direct comparison of that, actually.
Either way, I know they're roughly similar in size. Like, if Skyrim is larger, it's not like massively larger.
Yeah, I think Skyrim is probably considerably larger if you were to like flatten them both.
Potentially, yeah. If you like took the topography and smushed it, yeah. But I don't know if that necessarily counts, in my opinion. Just because of the next thing I was going to say, which is that regardless as well of the size comparison of the map, none of the cities whatsoever come close to the size of the Imperial City.
Yeah.
I think the closest of them would be Whiterun, maybe? Probably, right? Is Whiterun the biggest city, or is Riften, technically? I know it's not Solitude. Solitude, it probably is in size, but I'm not counting it because of, like, the size only being elongated by how, like, stretched out it is across that island. There's very little there. It's like either Riften or Whiterun, right? And either of those cities is, like, as big as any of the other cities in Oblivion.
Yeah, apparently, I checked. Apparently, Oblivion's map is slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Which isn't that surprising, really.
Not that surprising. I mean, it was the same generation of consoles, and Skyrim's textures were much, much larger, I imagine, in terms of file size. So
I feel like at least when you're exploring, maybe I'm just remembering Oblivion wrong, but Skyrim feels a lot more dense with just shit you can find.
1,000%. Well, I think that in terms of density, they might be roughly the same. Skyrim probably is more dense still, but the thing is, like, with Skyrim, with how, like, you know, drastic all the elevations are, when you're moving from one location to another, just moving from that one location to another is engaging in a slight way. In comparison to an Oblivion, it's like you're just running in a straight line through forest.
Yeah, I think Oblivion also suffers quite dramatically, like, not for people who would explore anyway, but from having that whole you can immediately fast travel to every city thing. If you're just like, oh, okay, I'll just fuck off over here then.
Kinda.
Like in Skyrim, like, yeah, you can get carriages, but it feels a little better than, like, oh, let me just teleport immediately.
Well, I think for both games, in comparison to Morrowind, a point I will always give the Morrow boomers is having fast travel at all that isn't like something like the carriages kind of makes travel pointless in both games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I travel just as much as I do in Skyrim as in Oblivion.
I think I just enjoy walking around in Skyrim more as well.
See, and I enjoy walking around in Oblivion as much as I do in Skyrim, purely because of the vibes, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Oblivion does have a very specific feel to it.
For me, it's mainly to do with the soundtrack. Like, so many of the peaceful tracks in that game are just perfect. I will admit that I love the Skyrim soundtrack and think that it's probably, like, the best soundtrack of the Elder Scrolls franchise, just because of how, like, large it is and how complex some of the songs are in comparison, because a lot of it is, like, previous themes, but, like, fully realized and actually stretched out. Like, if you ever go back and boot up Morrowind, for anyone listening, you'll have like 5 seconds of thinking, like, what the hell is the Skyrim theme doing in here?
That probably does confuse people if they haven't played Morrowind before, but they've, like, played the Dragonborn DLC.
Right.
Then you played Morrowind and you're like, what the fuck is it?
But what I was going to say is, like, I just think specifically on those, like, peaceful tracks, especially the towns, there's just a vibe to them they didn't put in Skyrim. I feel like a lot of the Skyrim peaceful tracks are so much more mellow, whereas, like, the something about the soundtrack in Oblivion. It just like forces its way into the front of things.
I think at least one specific soundtrack in Oblivion has just been ruined for me because of all the memes. But
I can imagine, yeah.
I mean, you know the one, but
yeah. Yes. My one gripe with the Oblivion soundtrack is the dungeon sound, like the dungeon tracks. They're just too short and there's too few of them. It gets a little repetitive, but
yeah, I mean, it's just like ambient noise for a lot of it.
For a lot of it, yeah. Which is fine, because it's not entirely ambient noise.
Yeah.
And if they had just put in a bit more of that not ambient noise, then we're good. I think another, like I said earlier, I'm going to be referencing things he says in his review all the time. But like Patrician kind of pointed out, I think that the gripe a lot of people have with the repetitiveness of the dungeons in Oblivion is kind of partially due to how repetitive the soundtrack is.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I'm going through these dungeons and like, maybe again, it's just like how engaging aesthetically everything in Skyrim is, but like dungeons in Skyrim outside of a couple are fairly samey in the same ways that the dungeons in Oblivion are.
Sorry, I was
actually
I was on another fucking planet for that. I was thinking about Morrowind, because I don't really know how to complain about it, like in a reasonable way that isn't just, oh, it's old.
I mean, you can complain about it being old. Like, what is your complaint?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I can't think of any. And I'm sure that some exist, but I can't think of any that aren't just like, oh, it's not wonderful to look at. Or like, it,
well,
like...
What do you think of like the hit chance system? It's not so old that it couldn't have had like the same combat roughly as the other games do.
I mean, I don't despise it. Like, I would rather not have it, to be honest, but I think there's ways of making it work. But I think, again, the issue with that is I don't think they could have done that at the time. At least just basing off of the game as it exists.
Yeah.
Because I think to make it work, you would need it to not just come up with a thing saying you missed, and you would need some kind of like responsiveness from the game, like with someone actually dodging or blocking or whatever. Because then it doesn't feel like you've been cheated out of a hit.
Right. Well, not to immediately go to what he said, but I do like Patrician's idea again of trying to put in like a dodge animation or something. But at the time, that would be kind of hard to do with those models.
I mean, that's essentially what I was trying to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I got that from. I don't know. I mean, I did watch it that one time, like a while ago. I never actually... I watched like half the Skyrim one, I think, in total.
You didn't even watch the second half?
I can't remember, that's the thing. I got up to like where he starts talking about Daedric quests, I think.
Okay. Well, that's like halfway through the second video.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, for context, in case anyone doesn't realize, the second video of that, I think, is like 11 hours long or something, so...
Yeah, and the first one is just as long. So very, very in-depth reviews of the game. And I don't know, see, I feel like they could have gotten away with just putting some kind of text on the screen saying like you missed, you know?
I mean, I guess I don't think it would have made anything worse.
No, because I'm trying to remember, when did Morrowind come out? Was it like 03 or 04?
I genuinely can't remember actually.
Well, either way, the point I'm eventually trying to get to is games around that time.
It was
like
neither.
World of
It was 2002.
Oh, 2002. Ooh,
God,
even earlier.
It's as old as me.
Okay, so 2 years after Morrowind, a little game called World of Warcraft comes out in 2004, right? These are obviously very different games, but I don't think that like a 3D game with like damage number displays or like literal words popping up on the screen to display that like an effect or something has happened would be too immersive breaking to people at the time. I do wonder if they had done that, though. I wonder if things like that would have carried over into like Oblivion and Skyrim. Like, can you imagine if Skyrim had like damage numbers popping off people? Like it was like a Borderlands.
But if it was, we'd all just be used to it. So.
Right. And it is kind of curious that they didn't do that. Because a lot of RPGs end up doing something with like health. Like I think it's very notable that like none of the Elder Scrolls games display stats of your opponents in any way. You don't know their health, their magicka, anything.
But there are perks to do that in Fallout, so that's interesting.
True. That is interesting. Do you think it's just because they have the quote unquote like VATS technology? Like the game has an excuse to let you analyze people?
I think that is usually what the perks reference, yeah.
Well, I just mean like, do you think that like the reason it shows up in that game is like they have like the in-universe excuse of like, oh well, you know, you have something that could in theory analyze people like that, so we'll give the player that information. Like there isn't like something in the Elder Scrolls equivalent to like say like, oh, I can figure out that this person has 300 hit points because of this.
But then what if you're playing Elder Scrolls 6 and then you're like, oh, I've found this dwarven wrist computer.
They put VATS in Elder Scrolls 6. You know what? I wouldn't even be mad. Because that means that they would put like limb damage in Elder Scrolls 6, and I'd be fine with that.
I say after playing with that dismemberment mod, I'm so upset that it's not normally in any of the games.
Yeah. I mean, they got to do something with the combat. It can't be Skyrim combat again.
I wouldn't even necessarily hate it if it was. It just,
I kind of would.
But like it needs some kind of extra feedback or something. Because I don't mind the whole generic just hit people with stick thing. I know a lot of people do, but I don't know, it's never been a huge thing for me personally.
I mean, I've never hated it, but okay, not to sound too depressing, like antagonistic towards any of these games, but have you ever played, so like I think Blades is the mobile game, right?
Yeah.
Where you just like tap your way through dungeons.
Yeah.
So playing Oblivion, I did have a couple moments where I was going through the dungeons and I would notice every single room, basically, had like a chest in it and an enemy. And you would go through a little tiny tunnel into the next room. And this could be like a cave or a fort or, you know, fucking the plains of Oblivion. If you were in a dungeony area, it really is just room, connector to the next room, connector to the next room, right? And each room has loot, enemy, loot, enemy, loot, enemy. Like the whole core essence of Oblivion and Skyrim, at least. And I feel like the same could be said of Morrowind, but I'm a little hesitant to say it about Morrowind. Oblivion and Skyrim, for sure. Like the whole exploration / combat, at least in regards to dungeons specifically, it really is just slightly more advanced blades.
I mean, in a sense,
like slightly more advanced. Because I don't know, have you ever played Blades?
I played it when it came out for like an hour. And I was like, wow, this sucks.
It does suck. But there really isn't that much difference between the combat in it and the combat in Skyrim.
But
I mean,
there
you're
is
eliminating the ability to like move around. Yeah, but like it kind of is just like tapping until they die.
I mean, you could boil any game down to that technically.
Okay.
I mean, I get the point you're making.
No, but like to extend it further, like you say that can be said about any game, we'll say that about like Dark Souls, right? And I know it's not fair to compare Skyrim combat to Dark Souls combat necessarily, but like combat in Dark Souls is definitely not just tap them until they die.
Well, I mean, technically it is.
I mean,
if you get really simplistic about it, it is.
Yeah, well, no, maybe the difference is specifically in Skyrim, you can tap them until they die and you'll win. In Dark Souls, you can't really.
Have you used other
things? Hey, yes, I have. I've giant dadded before.
Well, there you go.
I'm old enough to have run Giant Dad in PvP for Dark Souls 1.
No. Last time I played PvP in Dark Souls 1, I ran up to someone, they teleported behind me, backstabbed me, and I flew across the map.
That sounds accurate.
What's going on in there anymore?
I'm not proud of my PvP history in those games, by the way. But anyways, the point is like the mechanical depth of like the mechanical depth that is necessitated to like actually succeed in Oblivion and Skyrim and Morrowind for the most part, kind of, but I think slightly less so in Morrowind. It really is just like hit them until they die.
But see, I'm fine with that. Like, that doesn't bother me. I understand why it bothers people, but it doesn't bother me specifically.
Yeah, and like I said, it doesn't necessarily bother me. I've had tons of fun playing these games, and specifically the combat is not the reason I play these games, but the combat is a huge part of playing these games.
I'll tell you what, though.
Huge amount of your playtime.
Stealth Archer. There's a reason it's popular. Like, it is cool.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, a lot of that is just the sound effect when you shoot someone from stealth.
Yeah, the kill cams mainly for me.
It almost reminds me of, I mean, you still haven't played it, but like the parry sound in Expedition 33. Like, there's something about it that's just like, oh.
Ooh. I get that. I don't think my feelings on stealth archery and Skyrim are mixed. Just stealth in general, because I don't think they really designed that game well enough for stealth.
I mean, it feels less like stealth and more like your perk points are just like an enemy blindness slider.
I mean, it really is. And that's been an issue in all of the games, is just like, because they aren't designing all of the levels intentionally around stealth, because it's only one of the potential play styles, right?
Yeah.
Like, stealth becomes a game of, as quickly as I can, become invisible, like entirely invisible, to the point there is no chance anyone can detect me. And that is stealth.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to my terrible answer from earlier, Skyrim is like mechanically and even in many respects, story wise, it's a very serviceable game, but with incredible vibes, and it just saves it.
I mean, are you describing Skyrim or are you describing Todd Howard?
Do you think Todd Howard is serviceable but has incredible vibes?
If we're describing him in his history as a game developer, then yes.
I mean, he's a very good salesperson. I mean, he says things and my brain is happy, so I don't know. I could just listen to the guy.
Yeah. I mean, it just works.
Even when I remember when they announced, well, not announced, but when they showed Starfield for the first time, and he did that bit where he's like, see that planet? You can go there. And I was like, oh, he said the thing.
Uh,
And then the game came out, and I was like, it's fine.
I strongly dislike Starfield, but
Yeah,
that'll be a topic for a different video.
I think it says a lot that I have only played that game twice. Like, I don't even think I finished my second playthrough. But I didn't hate it.
It is definitely, aside from Fallout 76, which I have never played, it's definitely the Bethesda game I have played the least.
I have played Fallout 76, and I was just bored. At least in Starfield, I could distract myself by making spaceships, you know?
Yeah,
like, that was
I'm
cool.
just not a big fan of, like, MMOs or anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't like...
reason I haven't...
ESO.
We're
Which I
both
feel like
talking over each other to say the same thing.
Yeah. I have played ESO. But yeah, I didn't like it just because of MMO stuff, really.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't like it because it destroyed all of Elder Scrolls lore and is like woke or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot they added that one. I can't remember if they were like non-binary or what. But like there was a companion they introduced, and people went fucking crazy about it.
Yeah, what's woke or ESO with its fucking non-binary companion, or Morrowind with its non-binary god?
Yeah, it's not like based Skyrim. It has one gay couple and they're dead.
This is actually a commentary on how the Nords are extremely homophobic. Oh my god.
Oh man, I can't wait for Elder Scrolls 6 to have body options A and B and for people to write articles about it.
We'll get a return of that one guy screaming.
I saw that like come up again fairly recently. I should be talking about the guy who's screaming about pronouns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that come up again recently on Twitter because that's where all the reasonable arguments happen.
Yeah.
And it was someone saying like, "Oh, look, he was right because Starfield didn't do well," and it's like,
Oh yes.
yeah, that's why.
The pronouns are the issue with Starfield.
And if they just change that one thing,
Also, isn't it kind of the case nowadays, especially with games like Starfield that are like being like used as flagship games for Game Pass, that like we don't have data on how well they do technically. It's like movies on Netflix.
yeah, I can't remember if maybe that's why it came up.
I don't know how transparent Microsoft is with Game Pass data. Like, I haven't looked into it myself, but I would imagine they don't explicitly share like how many streams or downloads every single game gets, just because that seems like a nightmare for them to like publicly release wholesale. Like, maybe they do for specific titles, but that's just them saying it.
Yeah, I don't know if like that whole argument recently came up because like Game Pass figures got shared or something, but I don't even think I could find that tweet if I tried.
I imagine Starfield did do fucking horribly in terms of actually selling units, because it came out like during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, honestly.
Was it 2022 or was it 2023?
Starfield came out 2023, I think, which was
2023. Okay, that would have been like, well, far enough out from the pandemic. Like, most places weren't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think by that point, at
Still,
least where I was, it was pretty much over.
there were still issues with like production and stuff, though.
Yeah, I remember I
Like
got
supply chain issues.
I got a Series X like pretty much when they came out, and it was just pure luck that I got it.
It's like, actually reference another podcast real quick. That Mega 64 podcast. They were talking about how there are still games coming out for the PS4, like, to this day, because so few people bought the PS5 because of like all the issues with the supply chain around COVID. But I think that's mainly just the case with like both of the newer console generation. Like,
yeah, I'm very curious to see how the next one goes, especially with the new Steam stuff.
yeah, I am excited to see where that Steam console ends up going. I've seen a lot of people shit talking it just because of like how the original Steam machine didn't really take off. And the Steam Deck has done very well, but like people are comparing the Steam Deck to the Switch, and it's like, if you're gonna compare sales figures, of course the fucking Switch is gonna win.
Yeah, I mean Nintendo just does numbers.
Yeah,
they're just out here printing money for making games at like 15 FPS.
it's kind of crazy how big of numbers Nintendo has been doing, like, specifically in a row.
Well,
I mean, yeah, they've always done well, yes, but specifically from like Game Boy to, I guess we can skip. Well, we won't count the Game Boy because we have to skip the GameCube, unfortunately. But like, the Game Boy was huge. The Wii is fucking huge, right?
Yeah.
The DS is huge. And then we don't count the Wii U because whatever. The Switch is huge. So they've had, like, for the last 20 decades, or not 20 decades, the last 20 years, like, at either in a handheld form or in a console form, like, the big, huge fucking selling console, which is kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, that's kind of why I think it's not necessarily fair to compare Nintendo with other consoles and stuff anyway, because they have like their own ecosystem at this point.
Yeah.
Like, people usually will get, like, I mean, people who have the money will just get, like, a, a console and a Switch, because the Switch is, like, a separate thing.
It's kind of funny saying this, given that their competitor, or one of their competitors, is Microsoft. But Nintendo is almost like the Apple of the gaming sphere.
And kinda, yeah.
Because a lot of their stuff is like aggressively against customization, specifically geared towards like being as broad appeal as it can, and also tends to be like fairly jacked up in price. Like Nintendo games like never go on sale.
Yeah, I mean, have you, not that it's recent, but have you ever tried to buy a copy of Pokemon Black 2? Holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, and like retro games specifically for Nintendo games are atrocious. So
Yeah.
especially first party.
But then Nintendo's like, we're not going to sell them to you, but if you emulate them, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
We're taking your house.
And for the last 20 minutes of this YouTube video, we discuss how fucking shitty Nintendo is as a corporation.
You know what? I like Pokemon, but I'm still not gonna buy it because I don't want to Switch. I had one, and I played 2 games on it, and then I sold it.
Oh.
Because I just didn't use it for like 6 months.
I mean, that's fair.
Which is the same reason I sold my Xbox when I got my PC.
I mean, once you get a PC, like, you don't need anything.
I'm just too scared to try and upgrade it because I don't want to break the fucking thing.
I was just gonna say, I love Pokemon, but I'm also not going to be buying any new Pokemon games.
Sometimes I see, like, I watched a playthrough of the newest one, and it's like yeah, it looks decently fun, I guess, but it's like I wouldn't pay more than 30 for it, and I think they're like 60 or 70 now.
And I mean, you know, maybe I'm just too old for Pokemon, but they're kind of baby games made for babies. Like, I know there's a whole competitive scene. I know there's a whole competitive scene out there that I'm about to horribly mock and like degrade, but there is nothing complex or difficult about Pokemon games at this point.
I mean, not as a single player experience.
In terms of, yes, in terms of like actually just playing through the game.
Unless you're doing like a Nuzlocke or something.
Yeah, it is the cakiest of cakewalks, guaranteed.
Especially the new ones, they just fucking throw XP at you.
Yeah.
Like, I played Scarlet and Violet, and you just play the game, and it's like, here's 1,000,000 XP candies. Also, your entire party gets XP now. Like, didn't have that back in my day. You had to level up everyone one at a time.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, that was kind of annoying, but it also like made you use all of the different members of your party. Like, I remember the most recent Pokemon game I've played was Sword, and I remember playing through it going like, you know, it's great that all of my Pokemon are leveling up at the same rate, but I only ever use one of them unless I need to switch out because I'm like, you know, like the opponent's super effective against me now. Like, I just have whatever the strongest of the whole team is out front, and it sweeps because it's a strong Pokemon. Like, at least in the old games, you did have to like, you had to use the other Pokemon.
I mean, you can make arguments that like some of the old games are easier because they have like these cheese tactics you can use and whatever. But like, I mean, we're just talking about like a normal playthrough that a child would have.
Right. And in the old games, you could just have like, you know, your one powerful Pokemon that you then would swap to after having the lower level one start in the battle,
Yeah.
and do that to level them up. But like at that point, why not just fucking battle with the low level Pokemon? Anyways, we're so off topic.
Yes, we are. But that's the point. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
happen. Elder
Well,
Scrolls
it
is just
happened.
it's a psyop for us to talk about other shit. We just never got back to the Skyrim stuff.
We never did. What are some final thoughts from you? Try to bring it back to Elder Scrolls. We'll talk about Skyrim and Oblivion for a bit.
Well, the thing I never said earlier when you were talking about the Imperial City, because after I played Skyrim, I got like super into the lore. So one of my favorite parts about then going and playing the older games was just being like, oh, it's this place I've heard of. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting experience. And then not so much in Morrowind because it's like, oh, this place is a cube. I mean, like Vivek City's still cool.
That is. I mean, I love a lot of the locations in Morrowind, as cubey as they are. Like Vivek is really cool. Aldroon, I think, is the name of the city that has the giant mud crab as like the home of like the government area.
Was that the Redoran one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, it is apparently part of the canon that during the Oblivion crisis, when the Daedra were invading, the people of that town animated that giant mud crab. They brought it back from the dead to fight Daedra.
That would be a fucking wild, like, if they ever did an Elder Scrolls movie and they said it like during the Oblivion crisis but somewhere else. That would be
honestly
a sick plot point.
The biggest failing of the Oblivion crisis in Oblivion, and I think, yeah, therefore kind of one of the biggest failings of Oblivion in general, is like in the lore, so much of what happened during it is so fucking cool. But in game, like, you have like all I'm getting is visions of the Battle of Bruma, and it's like 12 dudes standing on a hill, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can say that about a lot of any of the games, really, where like the lore makes it sound so much cool.
True, but rarely, I will say, this is one of the things Elder Scrolls, for the most part, does well. I think Skyrim fucked it up the most, but not in ways that like are noticeable to anyone except like deep lore nerds of the older games. But the Elder Scrolls games are fairly good about not like biting off more than they can chew in terms of showing the lore, you know?
Yeah, I think people's main issue when it comes to lore in Skyrim, coming from the older games, is just like the Nords themselves and like their culture.
Yeah,
because it's kind of there, but it's all imperialized and
yeah.
Like I feel like they were trying
of...
to make it feel like the Nordic pantheon was like this old ancient thing, but they didn't need to, because that's what the Moran one is, with all the like different animal totems.
Sorry, apologies. I lost what my response was. Now I'm trying to think to get back on topic.
Which part were you responding
to? You remember earlier when you had that moment where you like just entirely like managed to kind of like space out?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of that. Like I heard everything you said, and now it's like just retroactively like erased from my mind.
I was just saying that there's this weird kind of erasure they do of the Nordic pantheon for the kind of Cyrodiilic one.
Which, I mean, I think that's kind of fair, just given like what they're trying to do with Tiber Septim in Skyrim, with like the whole tension of like, oh, the Thalmor are trying to make it illegal to worship Talos. Now the 8 divines, like the whole series has been a lot of a progression of like the worship of the divines in the first place. I mean, like you go back to Daggerfall and Morrowind, like the shape of what like worshiping the divines even looked like is like so different.
Mm.
So like what the imperial version of that culture is to like impose over the Nord one, like almost in a way didn't like exist in the same sort of like fashion. So I don't know, I kind of almost see it as like the world itself evolving rather than like eliminating Nord culture in a way.
Yeah, I mean I feel like they were trying to do this sort of like they were showing Skyrim becoming more imperialized and whatnot, but I don't know, it feels almost like there's too much of it, or like there's like it happened too fast or something. I don't know, it just doesn't feel massively believable that it ends up in the spot that it does.
I think it doesn't only because, or it doesn't feel believable, rather, only because, like, when you look at the lore of the Elder Scrolls, they're like, everything has been happening for like 5,000 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the time gap between Oblivion and Skyrim is what, like 200-ish years? 100 years?
200, yeah.
200, I think, yeah. So you're like, well, in comparison, that's tiny. So not much should have changed. But 200 years is a lot of fucking time for things to have the ability to change. And I realize that's kind of different in a world where, like, some of the races, like, people can live that long. Like, 200 years can be an entire, like, lifespan. Or even, like, just a quarter of a lifespan. But I don't know. I feel like it's not a sense necessarily of like it all got replaced too fast or it's being imperialized too fast. I just think that they like shot themselves a little bit in the foot with how static the past the Elder Scrolls was, with like how long it took for things to change back in the days, you know?
I think another issue is just that, like, the Nords, even in Skyrim, I mean, there's a whole fucking civil war about it, are so, like, protective of their religion. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, where the fuck does it gone then? Like, people occasionally mention Kine and Shore, and that's it.
Well, they're protective of Talos specifically, right?
I mean, yeah, but you'd think that would extend to, like, you know, the religion they're supposed to have had for thousands of years.
You would think, and this is me huffing the copium 1,000%, but my read on it is more that they do specifically just care about Talos. Like, I wish that you had all the Nords that cared about like Shore and Kine and the old ways and all that shit, right?
Mm.
But I think that those people in Skyrim are the nerds, right? They're like the people at the college, but they're less hated as nerds. They're just like the religious nerds, you know?
Maybe it's just like a commentary on Nords being like easily manipulated. Because they're only fighting against the one that's like actively being restricted. But if there's this kind of subtle takeover where they stop using their old gods and start using the new ones, then nobody complains about it.
I didn't want to go so cynical as to say like the Nords are stupid and easy to manipulate or something.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to word it without calling them morons, because that's not what I was trying to say. But
I do think that there is something in like how this is a more imperialized Nordic culture, right?
mm.
And Talos specifically, like I've had a lot of thoughts recently about like the evolution of the divines and their worship across the games. You go back to Morrowind, you don't have a reference to like the divines outside of the imperial cult, and I think it's interesting that it's like referenced as an imperial cult specifically, because then by the time of Oblivion, which isn't that much, what is the time difference between those two games? It's only like a couple of years, like
Yeah,
4 or 5. It's weird because, and I think this is a continuity error, by that time suddenly now there's like churches fucking everywhere. All of the divines are like, you know, worshipped and enshrined in all of these various places, like all over the place. And then you have like the whole Knights of the Nine quest, and you get context with Pelennor Whitestrake and all that, right?
I mean,
with
Pelenor's a fucking topic in and of himself.
He is. Where I'm trying to go with this is going into Skyrim. It really feels like the whole reason that they care specifically about Tiber Septim is because at this point, like the idea of worshiping all 9 of the divines has been like solidified in every area that like the Empire had control over. To me, at least, that's what it feels like. And
I mean, I guess that's the point.
He's like the Skyrim, like, you know, he's from there. He's the
well, unless he's not.
Well, yeah, unless he's not.
Because I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more references to him being a Breton, but whatever. We'll let the Nords have it. It's fine.
I imagine living in Skyrim, Tiber Septim is the kind of figure that, like, it would be like living in the same hometown as like a famous celebrity in a way. It's like, oh, that dude came from here, you know? Like he's our guy who became a god. And so I think that's why they're mainly like so upset over it, and why they're so lackadaisical about all the other aspects is that like nowadays they tend to only view culture of like religious stuff like through how the imperialized way of worship is. But in that way, Tiber Septim is still important. And to them specifically, they have a personal attachment to Tiber Septim.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been a huge issue that I've had, like, because, I mean, it's the first one I played, so I'm just used to being like that. But I feel like there are people who went into it expecting, like, a very different culture. And it's like the same thing if Elder Scrolls 6 ends up being set in Hammerfell. They've got all their own gods and stuff as well. So, like, are we going to get any of that? Or are they just going to go, nope, divines again, fuck you?
They're going to go divines again, 1,000%.
Red Guard gods are so cool.
I know, and I think if they're going to explore the Red Guard gods at all, it'll be like ESO stuff. I mean,
or just be Skyrim where they say their names like occasionally.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sorry to be the downer there, but
but maybe they won't. Maybe they will. I mean, they've had 14 fucking years so far to figure out what they're doing. So we've probably got at least another like 3 or 4 years to go.
Well, I'll be on the record that I'm already just disappointed in Hammerfell as the pick for location. So
if it is, I hope it's more like Hammerfell and High Rock, or like Eliac Bay type stuff.
See, I would have preferred Elsewhere, Black Marsh, Valenwood.
Yeah, but those are like harder, so
hell, they can even do the cheap out and go
Skyrim
back to
2.
Morrowind.
Oh, okay.
No, Morrowind 2. Because they have the easy out of, well, Morrowind was just Vardenfell. This time, it's actually all of Morrowind.
I don't think I'd even be that mad.
I'd be fine with it.
Like going to like an Elder Scrolls 6 Blacklight, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Give us the whole province, because that is a huge ass province. And it would kind of force their hand in terms of addressing what happened at the end of Morrowind. So it would actually be like neat seeing a bit more of the effects past just what we hear from people in Skyrim about the Red Year and all that shit.
Yeah.
Because I know that we also go back to Solstheim in the Dragonborn DLC. But that's Solstheim, who cares? You don't get that much context about what happened to Vardenfell in the last 200 years.
But as soon as the Elder Scrolls 3 is called Morrowind, will they just call Elder Scrolls 6 Vardenfell just to be confusing?
And then you don't even get to go to Vardenfell until like late in the game or something.
No, it's just not even in the game. They're like, oh no, it's broken.
That would be kind of hard to do, given that if it is the whole province, like Vardenfell's like dead center, isn't it?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like the layout of Morrowind is kind of like the layout of Cyrodiil, honestly. It's just that Vardenfell is a much, much larger version of the Imperial City.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's centered, but it's north.
Yeah. It takes up like
you could still just do a weird bottom semicircle bit.
Yeah.
But it would be very, I think as well, people would just be pissed if it's it's been 20 years and we can't go to fucking Vardenfell in the Morrowind game.
Yeah, we don't even get the whole province.
What if it is just Skyrim too? Like, I know people joke about it all the time, including me, but what if it actually was?
That I would be upset with.
I don't think
there's nostalgia
right?
baiting, and then there's just being lazy.
It would be funny though.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be funny until it wasn't.
And for Fallout 5, we're gonna go back to Boston.
I mean, maybe they should actually.
Oh God, no!
But everyone's seen Boston in like 12 FPS because you try and go in the center of the city and it just dies.
Honestly, I don't think they could get me excited for a Fallout game unless the location is China.
That'd be interesting.
Or it's just straight up like Fallout New Vegas 2. Not even like it's set in the same area roughly. It has to be Fallout New Vegas 2.
I think I would actually much rather a New Vegas prequel. Not that it's necessarily connected in terms of its story, but just so you can go there, like just have New Vegas be in full swing, have the story be something else, so it doesn't. Because obviously, if it was a prequel, you couldn't affect events as dramatically, which is the main issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to still have New Vegas be New Vegas.
Yeah.
But you can only do that if they, which I mean, it seems like they're doing it with the show, but if they make the house ending the canonical one, which I don't mind them doing shit in the show, I can just ignore that. That could just not come into my canon for the games at all. They can be two separate universes as far as I'm concerned, but
well,
I don't think they'd like it if they did that with a game.
No. I do think that the show is going to end up being the closest we'll ever get to answers regarding what happened after New Vegas. Like, I don't think we're ever going to get a game set anywhere close enough, time-wise or location-wise, where, like, they'll reference events specifically.
Well, I mean, you haven't seen the show or, like, any of the trailers or anything, have you?
I haven't. Well, I've seen, like, promotional material, like, that I've, like, had to see, you know? But,
But you haven't watched, like, the Season 2 trailer?
No. Not a full one.
I mean, I don't know if you care about the spoilers or anything.
No, I don't.
Well, Mr. House is in it.
Oh.
Or at least it seems to be. Like him on the screen. He was in Season 1, but it was like a flashback, so when he was just a dude.
Can't House be alive for any of the endings?
I don't think so, other than his.
Does the NCR make you kill House?
I think so. I don't know if there's a way you could, like, work out a deal with the NCR, but I'm pretty sure you just have to kill him. I know you have to kill him with Caesar. And with the S-Man.
Okay, yeah, you do.
But there's also, like, Legion soldiers in it, so I'm wondering if it's gonna go over, like, assuming that Caesar is dead, that it'll go over, like, the collapse of the Legion or something.
Yeah. Well, I have to imagine... Sorry, not. I don't have to imagine. Jesus, why do I say things like that? Anyways, I think that after Caesar dies, the most, like, satisfying thing narratively for the Legion, if you're trying to keep them at all as a faction, is basically, like, they're still fucking everywhere. They're just disorganized.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, like, all of the raiders, like what would constitute as, like, raiders, are just various Legion bands with whatever that local war boss is. Because I don't really think you can just do, like, the Legion are coming back, but with the Caesar 2.0, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that would just kind of fall flat. I mean, they basically half set that up with, like, Anias or whatever his name is at the end of New Vegas, the guy that you have to speech 100 into just leaving.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole point of him is that he's just super aggressive and that the whole Legion will just fall apart anyway.
Right. And, like, that's the whole point of the speech 100 is, like, you know, the Legion's too big and unwieldy. It can't, like, Caesar himself is like the only thing really keeping it together.
Yeah. I mean, even
they don't
Joshua
they
Graham
don't say that. Yeah, they don't say that in that specific speech. That speech convincing him the legate guy. It's more about, like, logistics.
Yeah.
You're basically telling him, like, look, if you attack the NCR, I guarantee you're not going to be able to keep control over everything happening out east. But, like, even with, like, that information, it's, like, clear that without the cult of personality that Caesar is. Like, if they're already experiencing logistical strain, I don't think losing the best leader they currently have will enable them to keep like as much of a presence as they did, at least to ever be a good threat again.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the only person who could take over that role, but it wouldn't happen. Would be Joshua Graham,
Right.
and even
and
then,
that would
it's
actually
like,
be that would actually be kind of interesting.
I mean, it wouldn't happen, but yeah,
it wouldn't. Because what would Joshua do? Like, if he came back leading the Legion and you were trying to tell a story with that, he wouldn't just come back as the good guy.
I'm just imagining that meme where he's like, we can't expect God to do all the work. He's just leading this fucking Legion.
Because if he takes control of the Legion and comes back to New Vegas, like, what would his goal even be? Would he still want to like conquer the area? I feel like after the events of Honest Hearts, if he gained control of the Legion, or not Honest Heart, is it Honest Hearts?
Yeah.
Yeah. After the events of Honest Hearts, if he gained control of the Legion again, like regardless of if that tribe dies or manages to escape, I just don't feel like Graham would ever be the type to go on the warpath explicitly. Like, he would be the type to defend his territory.
Yeah.
But I feel like he would basically turn the Legion into a version of the NCR, which would be a kind of funny irony.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if it would even be possible, because I feel like the Legion is so superstitious that if Caesar died and then Graham came back because he's like the burned man or whatever, he could probably spin some kind of tale that Caesar was like a false god, and then kind of impose Christianity onto them.
Mormonism.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna offend any Mormon listening to this. I'm sorry. I don't consider you a part of Christianity. I don't.
Did they? I don't know. I'm not well versed in it.
Yeah, they consider themselves Christian.
Okay. I mean, I thought so. I wasn't sure.
And I would say by every technical definition, they are Christian. But, like, I'm sorry, no, you aren't.
I can't remember if in Honest Hearts they ever specifically say anything about Christianity.
I have to imagine
they might do. I can't remember.
I mean, they reference like Jesus and shit.
Yeah, I just mean like the word Christianity.
I'm sure they do say Christian, but I know they for sure say Mormon.
I was thinking as well, like before we actually started this, like this entire thing is just gonna be like me showing how ignorant I am of so many other cultures.
What, you think that I'm not ignorant?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll just keep talking like I'm not. Or actually, I'll not keep talking because we managed to entirely get off topic again.
We did.
But I do feel like we've kind of reached at least a semi-solid enough endpoint. I
guess. I mean, we just stopped talking about Elder Scrolls and start talking about other shit. It was always gonna happen. Should we try and end on something Elder Scrollsy, like just to wrap up?
We should. I wanted to say something like, and to wrap it back up around to something more in an Elder Scrolls topic to end things out.
Mm-hmm.
Next time that we're going to be talking about stuff, we'll be actually going more in depth on what we think the next Elder Scrolls will be like.
Or at least what we would like it to be like.
Well, we'd like it to be like.
Because it might suck ball. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you need me to like say goodbye or something?
Nah, fuck it. Who cares?